Greetings and welcome to GRA 310, Week 2, Digital Graphic Design for the Web. Congratulations, you've written your first bit of code. From now on until the end of the term, you'll be building on this bit of code, step by step, to complete a website by the end of the term. You'll be using Geocities as your server. What a server is a hard drive remotely that serves up content to the user upon request. And you can think of it as just an external hard drive. In this case, it's Geocities, which is in Samoa. And while I'm talking about the location of the Geocities server, I want to prepare you for a little bit of lag time. Considering that Western or Samoa is quite a ways away, expect some frustration when you upload files to it. I'll give a little demo about uploading to Geocities. Now, it's recommended that you use CyberDuck as your FTP client. What FTP stands for is File Transfer Protocol. It's the protocol that allows you to send files, whether they're photographs or images, or HTML text, or CSS. It speaks the language of the server and allows you to place files on there. You can consider the Geocities server as an external hard drive. Now, in order for the server to recognize file content, your files have to be named very carefully. And there's a worksheet, which I believe is 2.2 in this week's assignments that you can follow. I also wanted to make you aware of my availability. I want you to be able to call me, or feel free to call me, at any reasonable hour. And here's my number here. Or, we can arrange to meet via FaceTime, phone, or Skype. In our discussion, our goal this week is to evaluate evaluate being tech savvy. That's our discussion. And, it's pretty obvious, but think about ways in which being tech savvy has helped you out. Perhaps it's been an issue that arose at work. Anyway, that's our discussion topic. Read the assigned textbook chapters, and so write your initial post for the week's discussion. Review the following W3 Schools videos and tutorials, especially the HTML comments and HTML5 style guides and coding conventions. And then complete the file naming worksheet, which is included in that module. And then complete the coding activity, which are the invisible comments called meta tags. In your HTML. Now, I say invisible because although you can see them as you write them in your HTML, they don't appear on the screen. They're really meant for reference for you as you develop your web pages. And then, of course, return to the discussion forum often during the week to see other people's comments on the value of learning HTML and CSS. Now, here's a few things. When you go to Geocities, note that it's .ws. That stands for Samoa. So it's a curious domain name. But this is where you go for the free website. So you'll probably want to go to web hosting, and free hosting is what you want for this class. You'll come up with a dialog box that looks something like this. Okay, here it is. It's the Homesteader account. It's free for life. Now, of course, as you add features, let's say you want to make a shopping cart to your website at some point, you may need to pay money if you decide to keep it on Geocities. There are numerous other web servers out there that are free up to a point. Anyway, I'm going to go to sign up now for the free Homesteader account. You should see something like this. You're going to need your email address, your name, and then you're going to pick a domain name. So I don't know. Students have used various things. You might anticipate using this to host your portfolio website. So you might use your name and something run on file naming conventions. You might want to study that before you name yours. But something like I named mine Frank Tierney, all run on. And you'll have to decide on a password of at least 6 characters. It's all pretty much standard. So remember those two things: username, which will be your web address, and your password. And it's like all other things that you signed up for. You'll need your user ID and your password to log on to your account. Now, once you have an account, let me show you what that might look like. Now, this is what the contents of a student's directory looks like. Now, I show you this to you because it might be wise to anticipate the weeks ahead. This is Max Strzok's Geocities account, and it has his file organization. And it's by module. So if you take a look at module 2, you'll see that he has his developing page of HTML. You can click on that to view it. And all the way up to weeks, say 8, where he's got his full-fledged website that goes right to it. This is for Town Restaurant. This is impressive, and I show this to you because his file structure is exemplary. So you might want to anticipate putting your files in folders. Now, how to do that? How do you upload? Now, once you have a Geocities account, you'll get this menu. And this is a really quick way of FTP. Some servers have built-in FTP clients. That is, you don't need the CyberDuck or any other FTP client. It's built in. And they call it a file manager. So I've logged into my account using my user ID and my password. If you click on File Manager in this first menu that you get, it'll open up the contents of your account on Geocities. And you can see that I've uploaded some files here. I have a directory just for Pasta Amore. And this is demonstration purposes only. And I have an early, I have an early home page for Pasta Amore that I built for purposes of demonstration. Okay, so you don't have to use CyberDuck. CyberDuck will give you a different menu, but the principle is the same. You'll have to key in your user ID and your Geocities password, and it'll come up with a two-panel window where you can drag and drop files. Now note that you are probably better off uploading files or directories or folders individually, one at a time. Don't try to upload a folder with lots of contents. It won't work. Upload the folder first and then add to the folder individual files. Note here too that I have a folder for images, and I've kept the index.html outside of any directory or folder. This will help you in the future when you have several index.html files. Lastly, as you build and design your website, you're going to want to ensure that it's performing properly across multiple browsers. Use browser shots to test your website for performance, and it will give you screenshots of what it looks like in Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, and so forth. It's a lot easier to use something like browser shots than to go, download various browsers on your computer and look at your web pages using them. But sometimes that's the best way, and that is to have multiple browsers on your computer so that you can view your files directly. Now, also, keep a record of your browser shots, and you can combine them into a single PDF for submission. But go to the assignment guidelines and rubrics for clarification. The principle is that you're going to want to test your website on as many platforms and browsers. So that means not only browsers but also computers, Windows as well as iOS or Apple Macintosh. So good luck to you. Call me before you get discouraged at any reasonable hour.